Welcome back to Reaction Nation. I got another video. This is a TikTok compilation that we put together. Credits go to my wife for putting it together. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you subscribe and like the content so we can move in the algorithm. And I'm going to try something a little different on this one. I'm going to try not to interrupt so much, and I apologize to people that don't like that. But let's get straight to the video, shall we?
Up to 18 meteors per hour will streak across the sky as the Lyrid meteor shower peaks overnight, April 21st and 22nd. The Lyrids are best seen in the northern hemisphere. They're famous for their fireballs, or extra bright meteors. These fireballs were first recorded in ancient China 2,700 years ago, making the Lyrids one of the oldest known meteor showers. Every 60 years or so, they surge with 100 meteors per hour or more. The last outburst was in 1982. Ready to chase some fireballs? Here's how. Find dark skies, far from city lights. Let your eyes adjust for 15 to 20 minutes and look up. Happy hunting!
I love meteor showers. I'm going to be out there enjoying that one. Actually, I think the date's already passed. No, I don't really know what today is.
No, that's something on the interstate.
There's smoke coming out of it.
What the hell is that?
There's a freaking smoke ring around it.
What is that? I don't know.
It's a freaking UFO. Look at that thing.
What is that? I'm videoing it.
It just shot out of smoke.
It just shot out of a smoke ring. Well, I saw it over here, and I was like, man,
SpaceX thing?
those clouds are moving weird, and then it kept coming.
But SpaceX would be doing
It's still showing up really good on
Not this.
the camera, though.
Any guesses?
That's Elon Musk doing the Elon Musk thing.
Everything's blamed on SpaceX or NASA, right?
Disappearing, but I can still see it on the camera. And it's
You ought to see the smoke ring it put out. No.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be famous. So you have on a dive, unidentified flying.
Yo, what is that?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be famous. So you have on a dive, unidentified flying.
Yo, what is that?
I'm gonna try to keep it real with you on that one. I'm not too sure, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of AI, but it's hard to tell nowadays. Kind of hate AI. Anyone from Vancouver, Canada, want to weigh in on this? I don't know if it's real or not. Kind of curious. I've seen some weird things in the sky, so I'm just kind of curious.
What this UFO was doing defies any explanation. Okay, guys, this is honestly one of the wildest UFO videos I've seen to date. This video was sent to me by a user by the name of Thomas H1024. This video comes out of South Dakota, taken just the other day. You're gonna be blown away. Check this out.
Spinning. Feels like a damn peanut spinning around.
If we take a look, this video bears striking resemblance to what Skywatchers deems as a Class 2 Tic Tac UAP. That's not all though. Here's a bonus video for you guys by the same user. Check this out. This object resembles what Skywatchers deems as a Class 3 blob UAP, although it doesn't fit the description perfectly and more closely fits the Class 4 being UAP. Still a fascinating UAP encounter that this user had. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I will see you all next time.
Interesting.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on a fire for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they wanna go inside. I'm officially delegated away. I'm your future, past and present. I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a listening of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sing, I just flow. I don't need gravity, I don't need roll. When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho. When I'm
I have a theory
Crazy.
why the US government is doing exactly what they're doing right now and why a lot of countries are behaving the way that they are, and it's just a theory. I believe in many other theories as well. I told my neighbor about this one and she seemed very taken aback, and by the end she said, you know, that does sound like it could be very likely. So I know I'm not the only one that has this kind of theory. My theory is that they're warming us up to the idea of a meteor hitting, right? It went from 1% to 2% odds recently that within the next 10 years, we will be hit by a meteor. Now, the reason I bring that up is because the behavior that I am identifying in the US government, with the current policies being made, the current policies being broken, it is clear to me that everybody making decisions knows something we don't, or maybe they know something that we know, but they know about it to a greater extent. And I feel like they were made aware that there's some very large catastrophic calamity that is unavoidable, that is going to happen in the next decade, because the decisions that they are making are very end of the world-esque, right? They're very, we have nothing to lose, we don't care what happens after 10 years, because that's the question, right? Everyone goes, what's the end game? What's the end game? What's going to happen after this? My theory, and this theory, is there really isn't an after for most people, and that they are aware of that, and these are decisions being made by billionaires and billionaires. Are they trying to, like, build a ship? I don't know, but I really don't think you should keep looking at people fucking sideways when they're bringing up possibilities, right? Possibilities you haven't thought of. It's not fear-mongering, it's questioning. It's bizarre that you are born onto a planet and you blindly believe everything. I think if you haven't read the short story Allegory of the Cave by Plato, 10 out of 10 recommend, because it changed my life. And I no longer blindly question everything. Now, do you want to hear about how I don't believe space is space?
Remember, we need to get to Mars as quick as possible.
Oh no, to me this is fake, y'all. I mean, if you notice, the door opens here. They're acting all like strange. They run to the window to like make sure they close the door. And then we're sitting here waiting because we're waiting for Jeff Bezos to open the door with the tool. But yet we just saw the door was already open. So first, let's explain that. Then the fact that these pictures don't even match the way that it looks like on the ground. Where's the debris? Where is the impact? Why are all the plants still like okay? Like nothing looks like something just landed really hard on them. Make it make sense to me, I don't know.
I've got my thoughts on this. I don't think they really went to space or up there. I think it's all show, publicity.
The US government is like, they're caring a little too much about US politics, so we gotta take celebrities and just send them up to space. I feel like space is just this like universal agreed deflector when shit starts happening. They're like, but the moon, actually the moon. Let's film every part of it, from them ringing their little bell to going up to free falling down and screaming, I kissed an alien and I liked it. Taste of that UFO ship. We are not this dumb.
The Federal Reserve is not federal. How many of you did not know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal? If you didn't, don't be shy. If you didn't know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal, raise your hand. Most people don't know that. 9 out of 10 people that I asked off the street don't understand that the Federal Reserve is a non-auditable private banking cartel. They are collecting $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. My children, my 2 children, were born $86,000 in debt based on the national debt. Now, why am I going to take away from those children to give to somebody that is going to be born in 2030? It's not going to happen. So that was my decision. It was very easy. You know, you think about stuff like fear. Oh, the IRS is going to get you. They're going to take your stuff. That's not important to me. Stuff's not important to me. My children are important to me. I'm one of those mothers that will roll up her sleeves with one leg and try to whoop you if you mess with my children. And I think that a lot of mothers are like that. So this is what my decision was. And I went on and started educating people. One of the things that people asked me once I made this decision and started talking about it, how are we going to run the country without the income tax? I don't know how much Dan got into it, but the Grace Commission report that Ronald Reagan put out in 84, says that none of the money collected in income tax goes towards running the country. But the bottom line is it's not going towards running the country, so you patriotic people out there, you've been fooled. Beardsley Rummel, he was Federal Reserve Chairman back in 1946, did a speech before the American Bar Association. The title of his speech was Taxes for Revenue Are Obsolete. Within the body of this report, he says that the taxes, the income taxes for redistribution of wealth. What is redistribution of wealth? What is that? That's taking from me that I've worked hard for and giving it from somebody else to somebody else. Shouldn't I have the right to redistribute my wealth if I want to? Another question that they ask me is, how come I haven't heard this on TV, or on the radio, or in the newspaper? Well, sweetie, the simple answer to that is the same people who own the television stations and the newspapers and the radio stations are the same people who are involved with the Federal Reserve. And here is a little statement that says that it only requires 5% ownership to significantly influence the media. Rockefeller is one of the original shareholders of the Federal Reserve. As early as 1963, the House Banking Subcommittee reported that Rockefeller, through Chase Manhattan Bank, controlled 5.9% of the stock in CBS and the bank and gained interlocking directorates with ABC. I went all the way through high school, all the way through college, all the way through testing for the CPA, and all this Irish training and didn't hear about any of this. You think they want this information out here? For you guys to eat up and chew up and find out what's really going on? I don't think so.
I am envious of the
That lady was speaking some facts. We should do away with the income tax. Matter of fact, property taxes should go away too. You should own your property. There shouldn't be no property taxes either.
people who were born onto this planet and had the ability to remain ignorant and not question everything, to blindly follow everything, to be told that space is space and believe it, to be told that we're on a planet and to believe it, to be told that the deep oceans have no aliens and believe it, to believe that the ocean is the ocean and believe it. to believe that the pyramids just magically ended up there. I don't know. There's so much to this planet that you have just been told that you just have to blindly trust, and you have to pick and choose what to trust, right? But never forget that you don't know a lot of shit for certain. You don't. How do you know that other planets exist? How do you know that those are other planets? How do you know that those are other stars? I don't. Sorry.
What if I told you that the moon isn't real? Researchers believe it is an antenna created by aliens to monitor Earth. When hit by meteors, it emits a metallic sound and echoes for minutes. It doesn't rotate like other celestial bodies. It always shows the same face to us. Isn't that strange? When meteor hit it, it sounds like metal. The sound echoes for minutes, as if it were hollow. She never turns. She always shows the same face, as if she were watching us. Ancient texts say that the moon appeared out of nowhere. What about NASA? Avoid talking about it. Some say there is a secret base there, dominated by aliens. Others believe it's just a hologram. What if we are being watched and monitored all the time? Or do you still think you're just a rock in the sky? What if the moon is just the tip of the iceberg? Do you want part 2? Leave it in the comments.
I honestly believe that there is something going on with the moon. Me and my son and my daughter all saw something black cover the moon several nights in a row. It would start to overcome the moon and then completely black it out, and there was no light shining from behind or anything. It was just like a black sky, like they just turned it off. It was weird. And then it would come back later on. It was strange. And then somebody else had posted about it on Facebook, and kind of got my wheels turning, trying to figure out what's going on up there. But we've seen a lot of crazy things around the moon. I even saw a light going towards the moon, disappeared, and then a big like spotlight turned on, shined over towards it, and then shined towards us, and then shut off in the sky. It was strange. I'm telling you, it was really weird. Think what you want to think.
What the fuck?
I'm going to tell you guys about this conspiracy theory because it's really fucking cool. Today we're going to be talking about John Titor. Now this has to do with time travel, UFOs, world wars. It's going to be very long and we have a lot to get through, so get a snack. Now John Titor was a personality that popped up in November of 2000 claiming to be a time traveler from the year 2036. He popped up on online forums, which is very fucking old. It's pre-wireless internet, before any sort of social media. I'm assuming it's kind of like Twitter. You make a post, people can read it. I don't fucking know, I wasn't born. John was actually only active on these forums for 4 months, from November of 2000 to March of 2001. John had stated that within his timeline, World War III had broken out in 2013. Clearly that didn't happen for us, but we'll get into why later. Now before this, in 2005, John said that a civil war broke out in the US between the US people and the US government. Fucking accurate. Around 2010 or 2011, Russia had gotten involved, declaring war on the US and siding with the people. They began bombing major cities within the US to try and create the downfall of the US government. Within this time frame, other countries just jumped in on that shit, and World War III happened. Now there was 2 major losses that John talked about within this time frame. Number 1 was 8 billion lives, which is a lot of fucking people. Number 2 was the language of code, which for technological advances and trying to rebuild after a world war is very fucking important. Now, John was actually a soldier who fought in the World War and was now a part of a branch of the military that dealt with time travel missions. Now, John had stated that his grandfather had worked with a piece of technology back in 1975, and this piece of technology held the function that could translate anything into any language, including the language of code. This piece of technology was the IBM 5100, a very old computer that came out in September of 1975. John's mission was to go back in time, get this piece of technology, and take it back to his timeline to try and help progress. Now, John is telling us this 25 years later, after the mission was already completed. As to why he was back, I'm not really sure. Really unimportant to the story, but John had said that he was actually able to go to his parents and convince them that he was their son. And for years, he lived within their home. He lived with his child self, like when he was a baby. Which, like, sure, you don't have to believe it, but like, we're gonna go over why I believe it. But that's just fucking weird. Now again, John had disappeared in March of 2001. Now everybody kind of thought John was bullshitting because this computer was not known to hold this function whatsoever. It was not publicly known at all. Later in 2001, after John's disappearance, that IBM actually came out and claimed that this function was factual. It actually did exist within this computer. And the only reason they kept it silent was so their competitors could not get a hold of it. Within this 4-month time period of John being active on these online forums, he was very open to questions, especially the ones about time travel. And he did not hold back as to explain how it worked and everything. There's actually a lot of photos if you want to go to his posts. There's a website, johnteeter.com. It shows everything. It's very helpful. I'm going to put his posts a little out of order just simply to make this more understandable. But John had stated that CERN, a corporation that's kind of quiet within the world, was going to be the first one to make the theory of black hole travel, which is using black holes to time travel pretty much. Now, many years after John had said this, CERN actually came out with that theory. And since then, they have been playing with black holes and testing them for fucking years. Another fucking thing that John knew and he fucking shouldn't. I'm gonna read off of my iPad because it's gonna get very scientific. John said that time travel was possible because of 2 black holes called microsingularities. If you eject electrons onto them and alter their spin, it creates a gravity field that allows you to move back and forth within time. John also said that his time machine weighed 500 pounds. It was the size of a suitcase. So easily being able to transport this around was very difficult. So how did they troubleshoot that? They put it in a fucking car. Yes, like Back to the Future. John traveled back and forth within time in a car. A car that I guess he would just hide in the fucking woods or something so nobody knew about it. John had also went over the theory that time is not linear like we believe. It is not back and forth within time. He actually went into the theory of parallel universe. The metaphor he used was a funhouse mirror. No matter what direction you look, there is infinite numbers of yourself. When you walk forward or backwards, so does your reflection. That is how time travel works. When you walk within time, so does all of your alternate selves. There has to be at least one of you in every single timeline, which makes it impossible for you to enter your timeline when you come back. They will be very similar, but there will be minor differences within your timeline. And that is the same with who comes back. So if John was in this timeline and he traveled to this timeline, he would come back in this timeline. But the person who entered back to this timeline would be him, but with minor differences. It is not the same version of him. It's someone from a parallel universe, but is him, if that makes sense. It's very fucking weird, but that's how it works, I guess. Now, John was very good at posting drawings and diagrams and pictures of his car onto these posts. Pictures that to this day scientists have not been able to find the origin of whatsoever. Pictures that scientists have actually studied for years and said that his math and scientific facts are astonishing. This man knows what he's fucking talking about. And it's science that we haven't even discovered yet. People used his photos to learn shit. How is that even fucking possible? Like it doesn't make sense. Now, one thing that John had also stated within one of his posts was, this is his quote, "My goal is not to be believed. Perhaps I should let you all in on a little secret. No one likes you in the future. This time period is looked at as being full of lazy, self-centered, civically ignorant sheep." Now, he is saying this in 2000, prior to the World War that had happened in his timeline. But we have went far past 2013, so I'm not really sure if this is still believed or not, but we're pretty fucked up. Now, as I said, John was very good at answering questions, but there was a few that made him very mad. Now, as a lot of us probably would, people wanted to know lottery winning numbers. And this would piss John off, because this timeline is known as greedy, money-hungry assholes. And John did not like that. He had also stated that within his timeline, mass media was just fucking garbage. It was always some filtered bullshit that they would give the public that wouldn't even inform them of what was actually going on. So they turned to content creators, which back in 2000 wasn't even a fucking thing. YouTube, nothing existed. So for him to talk about content creators and people turning away from the news and towards other people who do research is fucking insane. Yet 1000% accurate. That's literally what we do on TikTok. Which RIP. So those are just a few factual things that John had went over in the story of John. But there's more. We're going to be moving on to aliens and UFOs, which John did go over. Now, of course, UFOs are a thing that we are currently fucking dealing with, which my brain can't even fucking believe. There are aliens.
Before it goes any further, I just gotta put my input on the time travel. I'm sorry for interrupting the video, but wouldn't you time travel if you could? I know I would. And wouldn't you get the lottery numbers if you could? I know I would. It may be greedy, but we only live life once, right? We're only here one time in this body, living this life. We may come back, live a different life, be somebody else, be with somebody else, whatever, what have you. But in the here and now, it's like, what do you expect? We're human, you know? It's an interesting story, though. I'm going to look up this John Teeter and probably do a video on him. Might have my wife look into it. She done this video. I have no idea what's in this videos until I watch them with you. So that's why I can't do any research, because I'm literally watching it while you watch it for the first time. So I'm just giving my thoughts on it. Anyways, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Aliens and UFOs in our world. But John had stated that aliens are not some little green people running around that travel to us from a different planet. Aliens are time travelers. They're just people traveling from a future civilization. And their UFOs are just progressed time machines. Better than even his car. Now, obviously, this is why there's no news about aliens being seen or little green people being seen in these UFOs. Because they could easily blend in with us. They're just fucking humans from the future. Now, considering everything else that John had said that became accurate, I fucking believe this. It makes sense. It also makes sense why it isn't more of a threat to the government. They're probably working together. Now, the theory of why our timeline is later than John's is, because World War III didn't happen in 2013. A civil war didn't happen in 2005. But the civil war is happening now. Now, John had said that when you travel back, there is a delay of 1 to 2 seconds. It alters the timeline. And without creating drastic changes, you can only go back in time 60 years. Now, John traveled from 2036 to 1975. 61 years into the past. That alone could create issues. Now, 1 to 2 seconds isn't that big of a delay, but when it is on the scale of time and space, which is infinite, 1 to 2 seconds becomes years, decades even, which is why our timeline has been altered and delayed. He also said that every single time he makes a post on these online forums, he is a different version of himself. He would make a post, go back to his timeline, and come back. It was always a different version of him from a different parallel universe making these posts. Meaning this is not the first time people have came. Our timeline has been altered so fucking much. And I think that's why there's a lot of UFOs, is because they're knowing that we are about to go into World War, which has already fucking started. And maybe they're trying to help. It's just a theory, so don't shoot me.
Something big is happening, especially with the UFO thing. I don't know what it is, Project Bluebeam, whatever, entertainment purposes only, but I'm kind of curious. I see things in the sky. My son sees things in the sky. We take walks. We use our telescope. We have a pretty good bond, but we watch a light, and it looks like a star, big bright, come up in the sky, and we watched it all summer last year, and it would be the brightest in the sky, and it would start to dim until it would go out, and it'd stay out for a while, and then it'd come back, and then it would slowly dim and come back, dim and come back, and then it would go completely out, and then sometimes 3 or 4 of them would pop up after it went out. It was pretty strange and fascinating, but we're going to look for it again this year. Hopefully I can save up somehow and get a good camera. We don't have money, but wishful thinking, right?
In a law dictionary, you talk about being human. You know, well, I have human rights, the Human Rights Commission. You know what the word human means in a law dictionary? Hue is a word for color. You're a colored person. Hue, man. You look up the word human in a law dictionary, and it says, sea monster. Law dictionary, not Jordan Maxwell. Sea monster. Okay, you look up the word monster. A monster is a human being by birth, but in some parts resembling a lower animal. A monster, having no inheritable blood and cannot be an heir to any land. So much for being a human being. And of course, that is the way the superior authorities on the earth view the human family. I also understand, I may not agree with necessarily, but I do understand the thinking of powerful men who look upon the masses as nothing but a bunch of sheep. Because in point of fact, too many of us act like that. I don't like tyranny. I don't believe the God that created us divinely ordained us to be in chains. I think that the human spirit has always and will always rise above petty politics.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free. Oh, girl, it's you.
They don't even hide it anymore.
The season premiere of SNL with Ice Spice.
Ooh, look at us, 3 Gen Z icons.
Aren't you like 40?
No. Long time ago I met this guy and made a deal where I get to stay 25 years old for forever. What guy? Tall fella, horns, red fur, I don't know, little hoods.
King, that's the devil, dude.
What? Nah, I thought it was like a Times Square Elmo or something.
I play it off as a
This
joke.
man Elon just glitched in real life and this shit caught on camera, y'all. So Elon Musk was walking and there was a guy next to him, I guess, interviewing him or whatever. But then this man's brain just started malfunctioning, y'all. I'm not even trying to be funny at this point. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck was going through this man's brain. He was up there doing some little weird movements, y'all. People say it's the ketamine. But look at this video over my head. Let's be honest. This do not look normal, y'all. This was the same shit he was doing that day when he was at the inauguration. Y'all remember he was moving his head around and shit, and then somebody was recording him and he caught that person in the crowd and shit. The movement he was just doing, this is what it remind me of. Y'all remember this scene from Men in Black, don't y'all? That's what it remind me of. This shit crazy. This man real live moving like he in a simulation. So what y'all think? Glitch in the Matrix or something else? Or is it the ketamine? Or is it he's one of them people from Men in Black? Y'all let me know down below in the comments. This shit crazy.
Listen, I believe Elon Musk is a weird individual. I really do. And part of me believes that he is from somewhere else. I don't think he is human. I think there's something strange going on. I didn't even know who he was. And then all of a sudden he's somebody that's got all the money, can do whatever he wants, right? And now he's side by side with the president in the Oval Office. Weird things happening with this dude. But I do believe that that was AI. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think.
Let me tell you a true story. Be simple and watch these videos to the end. Another glitch in the Matrix. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go. Where's she walking to? Get in the car already. Shh. Shut up! You see what's going on here, guys? I'm telling you, pay attention to your surroundings. Shh. Shut up! Who is that actually? Who is that lady? Who is that? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know what that lady was doing, but she probably was just, you know, catching a little stress before she gets in the car. Shh. Shut up! What's going on here, guys? Where's that lady walking to? The door was already open. All she had to do was get in. Shh. Shut up! It's not a game, guys. You see what's going on out here. And she was in one of my favorite cars. She was about to get in one of my favorite cars. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game out here, guys. You know what time is it. Pay attention. There's been so many people walking around here. Stopping. Like this. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game out here, guys. You better pay attention to people that are walking and stopping out of nowhere. But I'll tell you one thing. If I'm ever walking down the block and I see somebody walking that's next to their car and the door's open and they going like this, I'm gonna think this is a video game.
GPS. Good.
If you're as fascinated by the Simpsons predictions as I am, then this is the video for you. Stay tuned. I notice everybody focuses on this show because it is the show that represents our near to current future. This is supposed to be our current lives. Then we have these two shows that represent our far past and our far future. The one I want to talk about today, though, is this one, because they let a little nugget drop in this one that I noticed nobody has really talked about. If you haven't watched Disenchantment, it's a show about Princess Tia Beanie and her adventures as she becomes the ruler of Dreamland, which I'll just say is America, but we'll get to that later. Now, I just want you to see how everybody in Dreamland is dressed like they're in medieval times. They don't have electricity. They wash their clothes once a year, y'all. It's so thrown back into the past that you would think that's all that is in the world, right? You have no idea. This one? Now, why I say America is like Dreamland, because obviously a lot of their people live impoverished, but they get drunk and they have their drugs, so they don't really worry about it too much until they going hungry, you know? And then on the other side, the king is the ruler, but behind him is a secret elite organization that he doesn't even know about, running stuff right under his nose and tricking him out of all his money. Sounds pretty American to me. Now, one day, Princess Tia Beanie chased after a spy that was in her kingdom trying to take reconnaissance information and steal some weapons. You know, how they do all the time, spy balloons and such. During her chase, she ended up in a kingdom far away on the other side of the world that looked like this, called Steamland, an electric city that was run off of steam. Now, her people live in the medieval times, whereas these people live basically in the 21st century, even though it looks kind of early 20-ish to me. That's another little hint, but we'll get to that later. As you see, the people that live here dress completely different from how Tia Beanie and her people dress. They basically are in the 20th century just because they have electricity. Now, it never says how far they went away from Dreamland, but you could tell that they had flown for a few days, which makes me think that they ended up over in Europe or Russia or China, where Tartaria was supposed to be. It's funny how Matt Groening is the only person that's ever put into a show that there is a land amongst lands that was more technologically advanced than the rest of the world. But I'll stop because I don't want to get flagged for nothing no more, y'all. If you like this video, leave a like and a comment, and
what do y'all think?
Let me know if you want me to go over all 3 shows, because I can show you historically and chronologically.
Up to 18 meters per hour will
I just want to say thank you all for joining me on this one. Hopefully you subscribe to the video. I hope you liked it. I'm going to be putting out some more. My wife was wanting to do a couple reactions together, so we're going to do couples reactions pretty soon. I just hope that we can get some followers to really like our content so we can keep it going. I really enjoy doing this. I hope y'all enjoy it too. And I'm going to keep working on things, but I've not heard from nobody. My videos ain't being pushed yet. Hopefully they get pushed soon. But yeah, anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching the video. Look forward to doing more for you. Have a good one.